Has your doctor ever misdiagnosed you? If so, how did it affect you? Our high school history teacher was mistakenly diagnosed with cancer. For 6 months, I watched her go from depression to acceptance and then to anger. I remember when she found out, she asked the class if anyone's parents worked as lawyers. I felt very sorry for her. She was already thinking about saying goodbye to her 7-year-old child. I had something similar, but for a much shorter period of time. I went to the emergency room because of coughing, pain and the like. I had an X-ray, my husband and I were waiting for the results. The doctor came in, said he had bad news, then said I had cancer. We were in shock, and I started crying. He looked at the card with my name on it and said he would be back soon. After 10 minutes, another doctor came in and said that I had pneumonia, that they would start treatment immediately. We asked about cancer, but she had no idea what it was about. It was probably the only time I was happy about pneumonia. When I was 15, my doctor told my mom that there was debilitating pain under the sternum in the very upper part of the abdomen. It's heartburn, ignoring the fact that this pain literally made me cry on the floor in the fetal position. Of course, the medications for heartburn didn't help me. I endured this pain several times a week for 4 years, and at the age of 19 I was sent to Iraq. Fortunately, the sergeant did not listen to me when I had an attack, and I told him that everything would pass soon. He sent me to the hospital. They took blood from me and it turned out that it was pancreatitis associated with gallstone disease. I had my gallbladder removed and I felt much better. That's an asshole doctor. My grandmother went to the doctor because of the blood in her stool and he told her she had hemorrhoids. She asked him to bring some more tests because she did not believe that it was just hemorrhoids. He refused and told her to come back if the hemorrhoid medication didn't help. They didn't help, and it turned out that she had colon cancer. At that time, it had already spread so much that she died about 6 months after the diagnosis. When I was 14 years old, my kidneys were checked because of high blood pressure. I had an ultrasound and was told that I was pregnant. They did a pregnancy test, they didn't ask me anything. For some reason, the doctors decided that I was pregnant when they discovered an abnormal formation that turned out to be a cyst. None of the doctors listened to me when I said that I had never even kissed a guy yet. The sad part of the story is that when the doctor told me and Dad that I was 10 weeks pregnant and I vehemently denied that it was even possible, my dad believed me and took my side. Then the doctors called my mother and accused my father of shooting me. In the end, I was sent to gynecology, and 2 hours later it was confirmed that I was not the Virgin Mary. It didn't affect me physically, but since then I've been wary of doctors. I went to the emergency room after diving to a depth of 3.5 meters. I heard something similar to cod, water from the pool flowed down my throat through my ear, then there was severe pain. When I described all this to the doctor in the emergency room, he said that I had an ear infection. Allegedly, this infection arose from scratch and developed dramatically. Allegedly it had nothing to do with diving, with cod and the fact that the water from the pool has a distinct taste, and I definitely felt it in the back of my throat. My doctor, an otolaryngologist to whom I turned at the first opportunity, gave me the correct diagnosis: barotrauma. The result of the meeting with the first doctor was that I suffered from pain for an extra 24 hours because, apparently, this doctor was not paid enough to pay attention to anything other than the symptoms. At least in the end, I was completely cured. I went to the doctor because of very severe food poisoning. He told me it was nothing, that I just needed to eat something for digestion, some whole grain crackers, because I hadn't eaten for 3 days. It turned out that this is the worst thing that can be done during salmonella, as it destroys the mucous membrane of the stomach. It felt like I had eaten a bunch of razor blades. I ended up in the hospital because of severe pain, and no one told me what was wrong with me until I was discharged. I would never have found out if it hadn't been for a phone call from the infectious diseases hospital. 1 year. You have nerve damage due to a spina bifida that affects your bladder. Here, take this medicine and learn how to urinate through a straw. 12 years. Oh, the drugs don't help. Are you sure you're using them correctly? 16 years old. Here, try the antispasmodic again. 21 years old. Here, try Botox for the bladder. 22 years old. Wait, there's something wrong with your bladder. You also have a second ureter on your left kidney. 23 years old. Yeah, you have a hole in your bladder, which is probably congenital. Wait 6 months and we will perform an operation to fix it. I have had several MRIs since birth and apparently the second ureter and the holes in the bladder were somehow not noticed. I'm still waiting for the surgery date. I'm overweight. I don't get enough sleep. I am constantly exhausted. I get bruises very easily. It feels like I have arthritis all over my body on bad days. My doctor has been telling me for years, you're just fat. Get rid of excess weight. Over the years, I have been improving my diet and increasing my activity level. I lost a little weight, but I still didn't get enough sleep. My body started to hurt even more. A brain tumor. It was a tumor. Fortunately, it was the best kind of tumor. Very small and benign. She destroyed my self-confidence. I've been suffering from frustration and self-doubt for years. My health continued to deteriorate as the tumor grew and completely shut down my endocrine system. Living with a broken endocrine system is terrible, but at least now I know what's wrong with me. Terrible pain, nausea. The doctor in the emergency room said that I have a huge constipation. The treatment consisted of sleeping with an oxygen machine that pumped air into my lungs through a tube and a rubber mask covering my nose and mouth. Needless to say, it was very painful. My lungs ached when I woke up. It's been 4 months. I used the machine every night, but I still woke up with a cough. It became even worse than before. The doctor looked at the results of my checks again and said, "Oh, I read it wrong, I'm stomping in my sleep. You can return the device if you want." Later, I also found out that using the machine actually harmed my lungs because it overexpanded them while I was sleeping. I never go to the doctors unless absolutely necessary. So, when I went to the hospital because of severe headaches and neck pain, it was my first appointment in 3 years. The doctor looked at me, said I was fat and I needed to lose some weight. I told her that the headaches started a few weeks ago. Every day they get worse and worse to the point where I can't stand. She said I needed to go on a diet and start exercising. A few days later, I went back to the hospital and was admitted by another doctor. It turned out that I had a small hemorrhage due to the fact that I hit my head on the closet door. My doctor said that doctor screwed up big time, asking me not to go into the subject. The last I heard about the screwed up doctor, he stopped working at this clinic. No one has ever apologized to me. I think that in our reality, the doctor would have continued to work like that in principle. I ended up in the emergency room for terrible excruciating bowel pain. The doctor literally laughed at me and said that I just had gas. I left confused and feeling very stupid. The next day, I woke up in even more pain. I went to the same doctor as last time. He sent me to the emergency room, after which I finally had a CT scan and was literally told, "Oops, your gallbladder is about to burst." Yeah, thanks guys. The next day, my gallbladder was removed. Write in the comments which stories you liked the most. Maybe something happened to you personally. Subscribe to the channel, write how you like this format in general, like it, don't like it. Well, see you later. Good luck.